Then you have option and parameter groups. Don't bother too much about parameter and option groups, as these should be taken care of by application DBAs. To work on parameter and option group, you need to have experience on the corresponding database engine. But it is worth mentioning here. Many RDBMS database engines provide additional features to manage and administer databases. Option groups can be used in RDS to enable and use these additional features. All database engines provide parameters to configure database engine behavior. By engine behavior, I mean performance tuning, storage engine changes, etc. Parameter groups can be used to configure this different database engine behavior. Let's see a very small demo on how to see and modify these parameters. To create a parameter group, you can select this option and then click on create parameter group. The moment you create a new RDS database instance, a default parameter group is created. I'll not create any new parameter group. I just want to show you what parameter groups are and how you can create them. Select this one. This is the default parameter group for the MySQL RDS DB instance which you created. You have multiple options here. Allow suspicious UDFs, auto increment, bin lock cache size. All these are related to MySQL configuration parameters. So if you do not know MySQL, it will be of no help. That's why I say parameter groups and option groups are something which has to be worked by the application DBAs or system DBAs. AWS Solutions Architect and sysops will never work on parameter groups. Yes, they can change it, but the suggestions have to be come from the application or system DBAs. Similar is the case with option group. This is the default option group which was created when we launched MySQL RDS database instance. Select this one and you can choose or add multiple options here. I'll not do that. This is a job for, as I said, system or application DBAs. Encryption is the additional security measure that can be enabled in RDS just like EBS, S3 and DynamoDB. RDS provides encryption at rest functionality. Both RDS instance and DB snapshots can be encrypted. It provides encryption at storage layer. Automated backups are also encrypted. Read replicas from encrypted DB instances are encrypted as well. Snapshots taken from encrypted DB instances are encrypted by default. If you are using Oracle and SQL Server database instances, you can use transparent data encryption. TD is an encryption feature available in these database engines which can be enabled in RDS as well. We can use RDS managed or customer managed keys to provide encryption. All database engines and storage types can be encrypted, but all instance types are not supported. We can use SSL to encrypt a connection. By connection, I mean a connection from an application. Suppose this is our DB instance and this is our application which can be on EC2 instances or on-premise data centers also. This application makes connection to this database to access data from it. This connection can be encrypted using SSL. Reserved instances can be used for cost optimization just like EC2 reserved instances. You can refer to EC2 part 2 and the purchasing options topic to find out reserved instances. Pay upfront price to get an additional discount on hourly rate for running DB instances. We have 1 or 3 year terms available for reserved DB instances. We'll discuss 2 more topics with demo. Those are RDS events and database log files. To get an idea of all the RDS events available, you can use this URL. Every RDS action creates an event and those events can be tracked. And log files are basically database log files. You can use those log files to see what is happening inside of your database. Select the instance, scroll down, at the bottom you'll see logs and then recent events. Log files are nothing but different operational log files. When your database engine runs, it generates humongous amount of logs or diagnostic messages so that DBAs can take a look at those logs and find out if there is any problem going on in your database engine. These are the different log files which have been created by MySQL database engine. We can download these log files, select the log file and then click on download if you want to, or you can view it in the screen itself. Select the log file and then click on view. It'll give you all the RDS log files and it'll show you in the RDS console itself. This is actually being pulled from the instance on which MySQL database engine is running. You can refresh it. You can download this log also, and you can watch this log as MySQL generates those log files. Then we have RDS events. Events are nothing but a change in state. If you see, the source is the instance name, MySQL RDS DB instance, which is our first instance. All these events have been generated by this instance only. Of course, we have selected this instance. And the events are database instance backup, starting of database instance backup, instance shutdown, DB instance restart, changing from single AZ to multi-AZ, starting the change of multi-AZ, etc. You can click on refresh to get additional events as they occur.